Guys, I genuinely do not think anyone is ready for where this Valentine story is heading. What started as a quiet return, a mysterious alliance, and a shocking romance with Carly suddenly feels like a full-on tragedy in the making. And the craziest part? It seems that Valentine may be walking straight into his own death while trying to save everyone else. And if you ask me, the moment Charlotte stepped into Windermere with Danny, everything changed. Because now, this is no longer just about rescuing Jocelyn. This is no longer just about Anna being trapped somewhere dangerous. Now it's personal for Valentine. His daughter is involved. And when Valentine gets emotional instead of strategic, that's when things spiral fast. So here's what we know right now. Charlotte and Danny apparently sneak into Windermere, which honestly is already a disaster waiting to happen. That castle has become a nightmare zone. People are getting trapped, kidnapped, hunted down, and now two kids are wandering around inside it? Yeah, bad idea. Really bad idea. The second Valentine hears Charlotte is there, I think his priorities instantly shift. Before this, it looked like he and Carly were trying to figure out how to save Jocelyn first and then move on to Anna, which honestly made sense. They already had a better idea where Anna was, but Jocelyn, she was missing, hidden, completely trapped. So Valentine focusing on finding Jocelyn first actually tracks. But now, Charlotte's location is suddenly known too. Danny is there with her. And I don't think Valentine can sit back for even 1 second knowing his daughter is inside that castle. This could mean Valentine abandons the original rescue order completely. And honestly, I think Carly understands that. That's the part nobody is talking about enough. Carly and Valentine have become weirdly connected lately. Not just romantically, emotionally too. Carly understands what it means to panic over your child being in danger. So I can absolutely see a scene where Valentine tells Carly he has to go after Charlotte first, and Carly agrees immediately, even though Jocelyn is still missing, because to Carly, Charlotte is still a kid. Danny too. And suddenly, this rescue mission becomes chaos. Now, here's where I think things start getting really dark. Valentine probably moves faster than everyone else. Sonny may hear the news. Alexis too. Maybe even others start mobilizing after learning Charlotte and Danny are trapped at Windermere. But Valentine knows that place better than anyone. He knows the entrances, the hidden routes, the blind spots. So there's a strong chance he gets there first before backup even arrives. But what if Valentine doesn't even know help is coming? Think about that for a second. He may believe he's completely alone going into that castle. And that changes everything. Because desperate people make reckless choices. I keep coming back to this theory that Valentine only successfully rescues one person himself. One. Not everyone. And honestly, that detail feels important. Because soap writers love symbolic sacrifices. They love giving a character one final victory before ripping them away forever. So here's how I think this plays out. Danny and Charlotte get separated inside the castle. It actually makes sense if you think about the panic of the situation. They hear someone coming. They split up to hide. Suddenly, Valentine enters searching for Charlotte, but instead he finds Danny first. Danny could be terrified, hurt, exhausted, and Valentine probably realizes immediately he has no choice but to get Danny out first. That decision alone could destroy him emotionally because every second he spends escorting Danny to safety is another second Charlotte remains trapped inside Windermere. But Valentine does the heroic thing anyway. He saves Danny. And guys, I think that's the only person Valentine personally gets out alive, because after dropping Danny somewhere safe, I believe Valentine goes back inside alone. That's the fatal mistake. Not waiting for Sonny, not waiting for backup, not waiting for Carly. He goes back in because Charlotte is still in there. But then something unexpected happens. Instead of finding Charlotte immediately, Valentine discovers Jocelyn. And this is where the entire storyline explodes. Because if Valentine finds Jocelyn imprisoned somewhere inside the castle, then suddenly Carly's daughter becomes part of Valentine's final mission too. And I honestly think this deepens Carly and Valentine's bond even more right before tragedy hits. I can picture Valentine contacting Carly somehow during the chaos. Maybe a rushed phone call, maybe a quick message. Just enough to tell her one thing. Jocelyn is alive. Can you imagine Carly hearing that? After all the fear, all the uncertainty, all the panic, Valentine is the one who finds her daughter. That changes everything. And I think that moment is exactly why Valentine's death would hit Carly harder than people expect. Because Brennan was one thing. That relationship already feels like yesterday's news. But Valentine? This feels different. Messier. More emotional. More dangerous. There's something about two broken people trying to survive together that always ends badly in Port Charles. Now let's talk about the part that really has me worried. Cassius. Because it seems that Valentine's second rescue attempt completely falls apart once Cassius realizes someone is trying to free Jocelyn. And honestly, I do not think Valentine sees the attack coming. That's the key detail. This isn't a fair fight. This isn't some dramatic showdown where Valentine gets a heroic upper hand. No. I think Cassius catches him off guard while Valentine is focused on unlocking Jocelyn's cell or trying to get her out quietly. One brutal hit, maybe multiple. And suddenly Valentine is the one lying on the ground bleeding out inside Windermere. No one saw this coming because the entire focus has been on who gets rescued. But what if the real twist is who doesn't make it out? And the timing could be absolutely devastating, because I think Carly, Sonny, and the others arrive just moments too late. Classic soap timing. By the time they get there, Cassius is already gone, vanished into the shadows. Jocelyn survives. Charlotte may survive too after someone else finds her. Danny is already safe because of Valentine. But Valentine? He's the one left behind. And the symbolism there is brutal. The man who spent years manipulating people, hiding secrets, running operations, surviving impossible situations, dies trying to save children. Honestly, that feels exactly like the kind of redemption arc this show would write for him. And if this really is the end for Valentine, I think the emotional focus shifts completely to Carly, because I can already hear the screams. I can already see Carly collapsing beside him after realizing he's dying. And here's the part that really destroys me. What if Valentine hangs on just long enough to hear that Charlotte survived? Seriously. Imagine Valentine, barely conscious, struggling to breathe, while Carly or Sonny tells him Charlotte is safe, that his daughter made it out alive. And the second he hears that, he lets go. That could be the moment Valentine closes his eyes for the last time. Not after revenge. Not after power. Not after winning. After knowing Charlotte survived. That is soap opera tragedy at its absolute peak. But I don't think the story ends there. Because if Valentine dies during this rescue, Carly is going to change completely afterward. And I mean, completely, there's a strong chance Carly blames Cassius for everything and becomes obsessed with revenge. Not just justice, revenge. Especially because Valentine died saving her daughter. That kind of guilt sticks to Carly forever. And what if Sonny feels responsible too? What if Sonny believes he should have moved faster? What if Charlotte grows up carrying the trauma that her father died trying to reach her? Suddenly, this rescue mission becomes the beginning of multiple emotional explosions across Port Charles. And honestly, guys, the more I connect these dots, the more it feels like the writers are setting Valentine up for one final heroic sacrifice. He saves Danny. He finds Jocelyn. He learns Charlotte is safe. And then he dies before ever getting the future he was trying to build with Carly. That is the kind of ending that leaves damage everywhere. But the biggest question is this. If Valentine really dies at Windermere, who becomes the next target of Carly's rage after the screaming stops